Good morning and welcome everyone. Good morning and good afternoon, I should say. And welcome everyone to our South-South series webinar, UN Women Multi-Country Office in the Caribbean in collaboration with COLEAD. As you know, we have 3 seminars. Today we have the first one, Building Confidence, Leadership and Overcoming Gender Bias. We have some housekeeping matters first, if we'll go to the next slide. For those of you, I know that we have English speakers as well as French speakers, so you will have to turn on your interpretation to ensure that you're hearing the correct language. Throughout the session, persons will be speaking in English as well as French. So both English speakers and French speakers will have to select their language. Okay, first I would like to welcome you to our series. It's been a long time coming. UN Women Multi-Country Office in the Caribbean. We have been talking to our colleagues at COLEAD for a number of months on this session, and we're finally here today. So we just want to thank the colleagues both at COLEAD as well as UN Women MCO. I would also like to thank the panelists who have joined us today from near and far, as well as you who have come on to our session in different time zones to engage with us today, because we hope, even though it is a webinar, we hope we have an engaging session today. Throughout the session, you will be able to share your questions in the chat and also talk to each other. We hope that this, even though we're far away, that this is an opportunity for you to collaborate. I will first like to start the session with some words of welcome. I will turn to Mr. Jeremy Knops, the General Delegate from COLEAD, who will start us off. And then I will share some words from our Head of Office at Interim at UN Women MCO, Isiua Iahen, who unfortunately was not able to join us today. Jeremy, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Gail. And good morning, good afternoon, even potentially good evening to all of you, as we're pleased to have an audience from all continents. It's also my great pleasure to welcome you today to this significant event. So, as mentioned by Gail, the launch of this new series and partnership with UN Women MCO, and more specifically to this first session, empowering women entrepreneurs, strategies for building confidence, leadership skills, and overcoming gender bias. Now at COLEAD, we are extremely excited and thankful about this partnership to support women entrepreneurs in the agri-food sector from the African, Caribbean, Pacific countries, but also from beyond. Now, as it was mentioned already, and as it was shared with all of you in the information about this session, have a couple of overall, of course, objectives through these series. Our aim, of course, is to foster collaboration and knowledge sharing, to enhance business skills and market access, but also to promote networking opportunities. And all of this is to empower women at every stage of the value chain. At every stage of the value chain along, of course, their entrepreneurial journey. Now, COLEAD, some very brief words. We're a private sector international association whose mission really is to facilitate and implement all actions to increase the contribution of the agri-food sector towards achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. And as we work across the global agri-food sector, of course, gender equality is really at the heart of our activities and at the heart of our different programs, amongst which most active one for us at the moment in the Caribbean region and elsewhere, the Fit for Market Plus program funded by the UNOACPS. Now, through these programs, basically, we strive to ensure, of course, that women are empowered and supported to become leaders in their respective fields. We know, and there's clear evidence, of course, about this, of the significant contributions to agriculture and the rural economy made by women in all regions of the world, and even more particularly in those countries where we're active. However, women continue, of course, to face a number of challenges that limit their direct participation and contribution. And through these different initiatives, programs, and collaborative partnerships, At COLEAD, we are really committed to making progress in addressing barriers that women face, and especially in the areas of entrepreneurship, leadership, and socioeconomic participation. We have our own strategy and action plan at COLEAD to provide a big framework for the operationalization of our actions, and amongst which, of course, partnerships are of crucial importance. Our overall strategy is to directly address some of these systemic barriers and issues that women face, and provide the tools and networks necessary for success. What we're trying to do, of course, with this direct action on women and gender equity is to contribute to a fairer world. It's to a world where gender is no longer a limiting factor in a woman's ability to lead, innovate, and thrive. So again, we're very honoured and excited when we look, of course, at the level of participation to today's session, but also, of course, when you look at the panelists here today with us, with diverse backgrounds and experiences from Africa, the Caribbean. Thank you in advance already for your commitment and your time to be with us today. To you, all participants, thank you also for being with us, whether you are a seasoned entrepreneur or just maybe starting to think about this new journey. I hope that the insights from the panelists today will inspire you first and foremost, and also equip you with the right mindset and skills to pursue or initiate your journey. As it was mentioned by Gail, we hope that this session will be very interactive. So please don't hesitate to interact through the chat. It's really not just about listening, but it's of course also a lot about learning from each other and building ultimately a supportive community to foster growth and opportunity for all women entrepreneurs. I will stop here. Thank you again for being with us, and I wish you all a fruitful session. Looking forward to it. Back to you, Gail.
Thank you, Jeremy. And as you said, we are also learning. So we are here to learn from you, the entrepreneurs, as we support your journeys. So thank you again for that, Jeremy. I realized that I did not introduce myself at the start. My name is Gail Gollop. I'm Program Specialist, Private Sector and Innovative Finance here at the UN Women Multi-Country Office. I'm based in Barbados in the Caribbean, but we cover the entire region of 22 countries in the Caribbean region. And I'm glad to see, as I see some of the names popping up in the chat, and as you introduce yourself, that, you know, some familiar names there. So I'm happy to see you here. As I said, our head of office ad interim, Isiwa Yahen, was unable to join us today, but I will share some remarks and some information on her behalf this morning. Once again, we are delighted to welcome all the entrepreneurs here as we start this webinar series. And again, a special thank you to COLEAD, Jeremy and his team, we've worked effortlessly to have this come to you. I want to first share some of these statistics. You know, you're all entrepreneurs here. You all know the challenges, you have your challenges. However, I want to share some of the statistics from the Caribbean mainly, so you understand our reality. So women make up 42% of the global agricultural labor force, yet they face significant challenges that limit their ability to improve their livelihoods and contribute to the rural economy. These challenges, and I'm sure they will be familiar no matter which side of the globe you're on, they include limited policy influence, unequal access to resources like land, credit, and education, and a heavy burden of unpaid care work, with many persons, when thinking of entrepreneurship and thinking of the private sector, do not take into consideration that aspect of unpaid care work. These disparities undermine food security and agricultural performance. In 2022, hunger affected 7.2 million people in the Caribbean. That is 17% of our total population, while 12.5 million faced severe food insecurity. The region had the highest prevalence of food insecurity in Latin America and the Caribbean, with Trinidad and Tobago at 43.3%, and around 1/3 of the population in Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Antigua and Barbuda also affected. These global inequalities, particularly the gender gaps, worsen food insecurity. In 2022, women worldwide faced food security 2.4 percentage points more than men. But in Latin America and the Caribbean, the gap was 9.1 points. So we often get the question when we're in sessions, why do you work for women? What about men also face challenges? And we do recognize that. However, women face peculiarities, as you know, which we at UN Women and COLEAD are trying to address. So when we look to overcome this gender bias, women entrepreneurs play a crucial role in driving the economic and social progress. They bring diverse perspectives, foster inclusive leadership, and often develop solutions that address social and environmental challenges in developing economies. Women-led businesses. These women-led businesses act as catalysts for change, innovation, job creation, and economic prosperity. These systemic barriers such as limited access to capital, restricted networks, and entrenched cultural biases continue to hinder women's entrepreneurial potential. These challenges mirror those faced by rural women in agriculture, who struggle with policy influence, resource access, and unpaid care work, as I mentioned before. Addressing these barriers, we recognize is essential not only to enhance food security and nutrition, but also for ensuring that entrepreneurship becomes a viable pathway for women across all sectors. We know many in the Caribbean, at least, many women go into entrepreneurship because you have to. However, it should be your focus. So we seek here today in this South-South cooperation in advancing gender equality and empowering women by exchanging knowledge, resources, and experience. So countries can unite to address the challenges women face in entrepreneurship, leadership, and overcoming gender bias. This collaboration with COLEAD, which we hope continues, fosters innovation and opens doors for women to access new markets, network, and financial opportunities. We at UN Women actively promote the economic empowerment of women entrepreneurs across the Caribbean, and we seek to continue this in all of our activities. Moving forward, we would like to tackle the major challenges through the economic empowerment of women entrepreneurs, as this is crucial. We want to provide you with the tools, resources, and opportunities to succeed in business, not only to boost your economic independence, but also contribute to the overall resilience of communities. Empowering you, the women entrepreneurs, helps address these challenges. When women thrive in entrepreneurship, they can drive innovation, create jobs, and improve the well-being of their families and societies. So what we're doing today, this is the first step in our partnership with COLEAD to address these barriers. And we hope that we have an interactive session. We hope that you ask all your questions, and we hope that we can continue the dialogue. We hope that you meet someone in the chat or when we share your information so that you can move forward. I will stop there so we can get into hearing the entrepreneurs on the panel. But before we get there, I would like to ask my colleague, Alexandra Carter, who will give you a short introduction to the sessions and some more information on the challenges faced. Thank you. Over to you, Alex.
Thank you very much, Gail. So it is a pleasure to be with everybody today. My name is Alexandra Carter, and I work with the Multi-Country Office for the Caribbean at UN Women. A brief overview of today's session. As mentioned, the core part of it really will be the panel conversation with entrepreneurs on their experience. But we will have a large part for questions and answers as well following the panel conversation, where we hope that you'll be able to engage with everybody. Please feel free to ask any questions during the conversations using the Q&A function. We will be monitoring that one as well, and engage with participants in the chat. So let's do a quick survey, and I'll ask the survey to pop up on Zoom. Who is in the room? I think we have, from what I see, more than 200 participants that have joined us. So you should see on your screen a poll or a survey that popped up, and it has 3 questions. So please answer all 3. Which region are you from? What type of organization do you represent? And then also the last one, are there institutions in your region that support women's entrepreneurship? So I'm seeing answers coming in. I'll give everybody a little bit of time. And I'm loving this. I'm seeing a lot of engagement. We already have 80 answers in. So you're here, you're with us. And we are happy to be learning a bit who is in the room. So
I know you follow the essays, so let me just see if you follow also.
I'll give it a little bit more time. Okay, so Gerard, would you be able to share the results? So you should be seeing them on your screen. When we're looking at what region is represented, we've got about 36% from Western Africa. Donc, bonjour à toutes les collègues de l'Afrique de l'Ouest. We've got around 28% from the Caribbean, and then as well, East and Southern Africa and other regions represented. So of course, we didn't cover all of the regions and all of the countries, but this gives us a good impression of who's in the room. In terms of types of organizations that are here, we have almost half of us are entrepreneurs. So this is the target audience for the webinar as well. But we also have NGOs, as well as public organizations, research organizations, business networks, etc. So it's a diverse room of people all working in the agriculture sector, and we're all contributing towards sustainable development together. Let's look at the third one. In terms of institutions in the region that support women's entrepreneurship, I'm very happy to see that most of you have said, yes, there are institutions. So about 60% say there are institutions with limited support, another 25% very strong, several very strong institutions. And we'd love to hear about them as well. So also put them in the chat if there's groups and institutions that you have engaged with that you think could be beneficial for others to engage with as well. And then a few say there are none. So this is, or I'll stop the quiz. But I think this is an important part or important poll to see as well, who's in the room and also where do we stand in terms of connecting and networking women entrepreneurs in the agricultural sector. So why today did we start these sessions and talking about leadership and gender bias? So both Jeremy Knops and Gail Gollop have already given a bit of a background in terms of what we're talking about when it comes to gender. And just to, so gender is the fundamental human right. And as a human right, everybody should be having the same rights, opportunities, and obligations. Now, we do know that sometimes that isn't always the case due to systemic barriers. So it has nothing to do with us individually, with our individual skills, but more it has to do with societies, with how our legal systems are set up, our economies are set up, how our social structures are set up. We want to focus on this gender analysis and this conversation around gender because it's important to be aware of what barriers exist, but also what opportunities exist one statistic that always sticks with me is that women make 70% of all consumer decisions in the world. That is a huge, huge market. And as women, we are a very diverse group, but we're also uniquely placed to know how these consumers think and how they buy. So those are also opportunities that we can seize. We also want to understand what strategies have helped women overcome different barriers and what strategies they've applied. And if we have the space for it, also advocate and lead for change towards gender equality. So that's where the gender barriers or the bias comes together and links to the leadership. So when we're talking about gender, we're talking about social norms, right? It's not about what we can do, but it's about what society tells us we should be doing. And a recent survey around gender norms from 2023 showed that just under 50% of the population actually thinks that men make better business executives than women do. And this is men and women. So it's not just men who think that, it's also women who have said that they believe this gender stereotype or this bias. And it's important to know that that exists because it does influence our behavior, it influences society's behavior. For example, women aren't promoted to leadership positions equally, or maybe a bank might think that a woman's business is riskier. And this leads to the real gender inequality that we have in the Caribbean. 27% of CEOs are women, and the vast majority are men. We also see from research when it comes to what are the challenges that women entrepreneurs mention the most that they face. There's material and financial challenges, of course, being able to access finance, have guidance and support networks. But the bigger red dots are around cultural and social norms and obstacles that they have expressed around being seen as credible or taken seriously as a woman entrepreneur, balancing work and family life, etc. And these are not necessarily things that are addressed in gender neutral business support organizations or conversations. So that's why today we want to spot a bit of spotlight on these topics. So when we're talking about gender norms and we want to talk about changing them, we also have to understand how our own brains works, because gender norms are a shortcut for us. It's in our brains, so we think, oh, okay, or norms or social norms are shortcuts in our brains. So I want to do a little bit of an experiment with all of us. If you have a pen and paper, please take one down, take one in your hand, and I will be showing you a card with a statement on it. And I want you to write down the first image that comes to your mind. Is it a man or a woman? Just the gender of it. Are we all ready? Okay. So the first one, imagine a CEO. Write down the first thing that comes to mind. Man or woman. Imagine someone crying in the workplace. Imagine someone in a board meeting. Imagine someone leaving the workplace early to pick up a child. Imagine a farmer on a tractor. Okay, I hope you've written down which card you imagined, a man or a woman. So what we're going to do now is we're going to count. How many times did you count the right or the stereotypical gender? So imagine a CEO. If you imagine it was a man, you take a point. If you imagine it was somebody crying and it was a woman, you write down a point. If you imagine someone in a board meeting being a man, 1 more point. Imagine someone leaving early and it was a woman, 1 more point. Imagine it was a farmer on a tractor. On a tractor, sorry. Okay, So we'll launch a real quick poll, again, the survey poll, to see how many points did you get? Did you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? And I'll be transparent, the first time I did this exercise, I got 3. And I'm somebody who works in the gender space. Okay, giving it a little bit more time. Okay, so let's see the results of the poll. I'm not sure if we can see. There we go. So 34% of us thought of the gender that is on the card. So when we imagine a CEO, we thought of a man. When we imagine somebody picking up their kids, we thought of a woman. 28% had 4 cards, 25% 3 cards. So we can say about 85% of us had the majority of the cards. We were thinking in a gendered way. So I'll stop showing the poll. What does this mean? It means everybody has unconscious bias. Unconscious bias is just the way our brains work. It's an implicit association. It's a shortcut that we have, and oftentimes it's automatic. And especially when we're under stress, so when we don't have much time, we make up our minds very quickly about who's in front of us. Can we trust them? Can't we trust them? What do we think about them? And this, of course, isn't just about gender. It also comes to it when we think about age, for example. We might see a young entrepreneur of 25 years and think, oh, they're just starting out. But maybe they started their business when they were 10 years old. They might have more experience than us. So these are automatic shortcuts that we have in our brain. And it's not about judging that we have these shortcuts, but it's about being conscious that they exist, that other people have those shortcuts as well. And then it's really important on how we act on it. So how do we show up in the world? How are we conscious of our own bias? And how do we act towards other people? And how are we conscious of other people's bias and react to it? And this will be the conversation that we're having today, where we'll be talking about where different panelists and different entrepreneurs will be showing and sharing how they define leadership, and also how they have encountered their own bias or overcome other people's bias. So I will stop here and hand it back to Gail. Thank you very much for your attention, and I look forward to continued conversation.
Thank you so much, Alex. And thank you for that very interesting presentation. Even though I also work in the space, I feel like if I always learn something new, or I always get a little more conscious of something. So thank you for that. And I hope that you found it very interesting. Okay, so we'll move on quickly to our panel discussion. I would first like to thank our panelists who are here today. There are 4 incredible women entrepreneurs from both the Caribbean and Africa, who are driving change in the agricultural and business sectors. Today, we will hear from all of you as you share your journeys, challenges, and insights on leadership, gender bias, and the way forward. I'm sure many of you who are in the session will recognize some of the issues as each panelist speaks on what they have encountered in their journey and exchange their experiences. So how the panel will go, I will introduce you to the 4 panelists. They will each give just a short presentation on what they do. Then we will have 2 rounds of questions, and then I will invite the panelists to give their final word. After this, we will have a 30-minute session of question and answers. So as indicated earlier, you can put your questions into the Q&A tab on the bottom, not the chat tab, in the Q&A tab, and we will try to address as many as possible. If it's possible, we will not get to all this morning. So I will first introduce our panelists. We have Christina Pooler from Barbados, the owner of Zanteria Farms. Christina is a third-generation agriculturalist and sustainability advocate, currently pursuing a master's in natural resource and environmental management. She is an NOAA fellow researching soil quality improvement in the Caribbean at Cardi, and she also mentors young farmers through the ECA Future Farmer think tank. That's the Inter-American Institute on Agriculture and in the Agri-Mentor program. We also have Fanny Parisha Gondwe, who's the founder of Parisha Agro and Packaging Enterprise. Fanny is from Malawi, and she combats malnutrition and empowers rural women through biofortified foods and sustainable agriculture. She provides training and resources to over 300 women farmers, ensuring gender inclusivity in agriculture. Her impact on food security and women's economic independence has been recognized with numerous awards, including the 2024 Women's Agripreneurs of the Year Award. We also have Lana Athanaze from Dominica, though Lana is currently at sea. She's doing a tour right now of the Caribbean. She is the founder of Eclat Nova Luxuries. Lana brings 26 years of experience in banking and finance to her journey of entrepreneurship. Her brand specializes in sustainable botanical skincare, blending traditional and modern methods from Dominica. She is committed to community empowerment, collaborating with small-scale farmers, the Kalinago community, which is an indigenous community in Dominica, and differently abled artisans. And finally, we have Patricia Zwandio from Côte d'Ivoire. She's a social entrepreneur and founder of Canaan, I hope I pronounced that correctly, probably not, land. Patricia empowers women through sustainable agriculture and financial inclusion. She also leads Quick Cash and Digital Hub, improving financial services for rural populations. As president of the Small and Medium Enterprises Movement, she advocates for gender equality in male-dominated sectors like agriculture and finance. Her leadership has earned recognition from the African Forum of Women Leaders and UNCTAD. So welcome again to these four phenomenal women who are doing great work in their sphere in different parts of the globe. I will first turn to Christina and ask her to just give a very brief overview of her business. Over to you, Christina.
Hi, good day to everyone. My name is Christina Pooler, and I'm the owner of Zanteria Farms. And you can, yes, first slide. So at Zanteria Farms, we are committed to addressing the challenges of providing sustainable and locally grown produce here on the island. And our aim is to contribute to the movement of transforming our structure, our food structure, and gradually evolving it to become more sufficient and environmentally sustainable. In 2023, the island's crop and livestock imports amounted to about $444 million US. And out of that, 223 million of these products were sourced from the US alone. So by increasing our local production, we aim to reduce the reliance of imported goods and thereby improving our food shed. Additionally, we prioritize in producing healthy foods while creating job opportunities and mentorship programs for individuals interested in food production, particularly focusing on youth and young women empowerment. Next slide. So for the latter part, we've been focusing on the use of regenerative agriculture and climate smart agricultural technologies to maintain the operation of the farm, and also promoting these practices through production, research, education, community outreach, and stakeholder involvement. As I said before, we provide mentorship to persons interested in agriculture through the production process, and also we partner with other organizations to install agricultural systems that you can see in some of the photos on the screen, and also to educate the students, teachers, and parents about local food production. Next slide. So on the production end of things, we cater to the local communities in different pocket areas of the island. We cater to restaurants, schools, especially preschools, and then also the local produce markets. We provide a mix of crops because we're looking at soil health as well too. We provide root crops, salad mixes, various vegetables that can be grown here locally, and also use technology to produce other products such as sun-dried tomatoes and microgreens. And that's just a snapshot of the farm and what we actually do on a day-to-day basis. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. We look forward to hearing more from you later. I will now turn over to Fanny to give an overview of her business.
Greetings, everyone, from the home heart of Africa, Malawi. My name is Fanny Gondwe. I'm the founder and executive director for Perisha Agro and Packaging Enterprise. I'm from Lilongwe, the capital city of Malawi, and Malawi is in the Southern Africa region. So basically, we are into agribusiness with much focus on food biofortification. So we are talking about food crops that are naturally fortified with vitamin A and zinc. So on vitamin A, we are working on orange-faced sweet potatoes, orange maize, newer beans, which are biofortified with zinc. But here I will just talk about orange-faced sweet potato. So we are working with farmers, and currently since 2017, we have so far worked and trained with over 6,000 rural population, and especially the women and the youth. And from what we are doing, the aim basically for us to work with the rural population is to improve their nutritional status. And these are mainly the women, those that are pregnant, women, lactating mothers, and children under 5, because these are highly vulnerable to stunting and malnutrition. So in Malawi, it's something that is on the higher rate, because the statistics shows that we are at 37.1% compared to 29.3% when it comes to malnutrition in Southern Africa region. So orange-faced sweet potato has proved to at least reduce malnutrition because it's already fortified, naturally fortified. And again, in Malawi, to find micronutrients to fortify food products is a problem. They're expensive. We buy from outside the country. And when you are talking about the rural population, they cannot manage. So we are producing orange-faced sweet potato flour as well as puree. Basically, they are sold to the supermarkets, rural markets, and we are also in the process of exporting. We are exporting like in the region, but now we are looking at the international market. But at the regional level, at least we are there. So for now, that's what I can say.
Thank you for sharing, Fanny. That's very interesting. And, I'm familiar with the businesses in the Caribbean. So it's good to hear about what you're also doing in the African region, and also to try and connect them. We now turn to Patricia, who will share a little about her business. Over to you, Patricia.
Bonjour. Donc, moi, je suis Patricia Zondi-Yao et je suis entrepreneur dans l'agriculture et mon entreprise s'appelle Canaland. Donc, avec Canaland, qu'est-ce que nous faisons? Nous construisons de bout en bout une chaîne de valeur pour les petites agricultrices. Donc, nous avons créé un modèle économique qui leur permet d'avoir accès de manière durable et de manière plus sécurisée à la terre. Nous finançons pour elles tout ce qui est intrants de production, ce qui leur permet d'avoir des intrants de qualité et qui leur permet de pouvoir également doubler, voire tripler leur rendement. Nous leur apportons également tout ce qui est assistance technique, de sorte qu'elles puissent produire conformément aux besoins du marché, et nous facilitons pour elles la distribution dans les centrales d'achat des supermarchés et des hôtels d'un certain niveau. D'où nous est venue l'idée? L'idée est venue du fait que en Côte d'Ivoire, il y a eu vraiment assez de développement dans le domaine touristique. Donc, on a eu beaucoup de chaînes hôtelières qui se sont installées et beaucoup de supermarchés également qui ont fait leur entrée. Et de plus en plus, le consommateur cherche à avoir des produits qui sont sains, des produits qui sont tracés et des produits qui sont respectueux de l'environnement. Et de l'autre côté, on a des femmes qui, elles, n'ont pas d'informations sur le marché, n'ont pas d'informations sur les besoins des clients, ne savent même pas comment avoir accès aux intrants et en plus, qui font face au défi d'avoir accès à la terre. Donc, nous, on vient comme un pont. On vient comme pour créer un pont pour réduire l'écart qu'il y a entre ces femmes et l'accès au marché. Aujourd'hui, via notre modèle, nous avons pu accompagner 352 femmes qui font partie de notre réseau de distribution. Et donc, ces femmes-là, aujourd'hui, sont capables de produire selon les normes et les standards du marché, de pouvoir distribuer à des clients qui sont à la recherche de leurs produits. Je vais donner juste un exemple. On a une entreprise qui s'est installée en Côte d'Ivoire qui fait de la restauration collective, qui est une franchise, on va dire, américaine. Et cette franchise a continué d'importer des tomates pour pouvoir faire leur menu. Parce que les tomates qu'ils devaient utiliser devaient répondre à des standards. Ils ont une certification qu'on appelle YAMGAP. Et donc, il fallait forcément que l'entreprise qui voulait leur livrer puisse être certifiée YAMGAP. Donc, c'est ce que nous avons fait. Donc, nous avons formé aux standards. Nous avons passé la certification. Nous avons réussi. Aujourd'hui, les tomates en question sont vendues à cette franchise-là à un prix qui permet de mieux rémunérer les femmes agricultrices. Donc, voici un peu comment notre modèle s'est passé, s'est produit. Donc, on a 382 femmes aujourd'hui qui sont dans notre chaîne d'approvisionnement et nous sommes en train de les accompagner vers de nouveaux produits. Donc, c'est un peu comme ça que notre modèle revient. On a pratiquement 80% de femmes qui sont avec nous. Et à côté, nous avons développé un programme pour les jeunes filles. Vu que de plus en plus, l'agriculture ne semble pas être attrayante, ne semble pas être sexy en milieu rural, nous avons mis en place un modèle qui réduit la pénibilité du travail. Nous faisons en sorte que le travail agricole soit plus aisé, moins pénible, moins difficile, de sorte à pouvoir attirer plus de femmes et plus de jeunes. Et deuxièmement, ce qu'on fait, on leur permet, en rendant le travail agricole moins difficile, d'avoir un peu de temps pour elles-mêmes. Donc, là où elles pouvaient passer plus de 8 heures de temps dans les exploitations, elles peuvent passer que la moitié et faire moins de travail physique. Et le reste de leur temps, elles peuvent les utiliser pour s'occuper d'elles-mêmes ou de développer d'autres activités. Donc, voici un peu comment notre modèle se produit. Aujourd'hui, on est présent dans pratiquement toutes les grandes surfaces d'Abidjan. Et également, nous sommes présents dans les hôtels et les restaurants de luxe. Et nous produisons pour des entreprises spécifiques comme celles que je vous ai signifiées. Et là, on est en train encore de chercher encore d'autres clients qui nous demandent une certification qui est le food safety. Donc, on est en train encore de les former pour qu'elles puissent également passer cette certification-là, de sorte qu'elles puissent avoir accès à des marchés plus structurés, puisqu'auparavant, elles n'avaient accès qu'à des marchés informels. Et vu que les marchés structurés, quelquefois, demandent d'être certifiés, donc nous sommes en train de les préparer pour la certification Global Gap. Et on espère que d'ici la fin de l'année, ce sera quelque chose de OK au niveau de la certification Global Gap pour nous permettre d'atteindre un autre standard de marché. Donc, voici ce que je pouvais dire en introduction. Je pense que je vais revenir après sur les défis lorsqu'on va aborder le deuxième point de la question.
Thank you so much, Patricia, for that interesting overview of what you're doing. I turn quickly to Alana, who will give her overview as well, and so that we can go get into the meat of this session. Thank you, Lana.
Hi, everyone. I am Lana Athenas Francis, and I am the founder of Eclanova Luxuries, a sustainable brand located on the island of Dominica. We incorporate the use of organically grown and ethically sourced ingredients in all our products. And our business also supports small-scale farmers who practice organic farming. I'm sorry, my camera just went off and I'm not sure what's happening on my end.
That's fine, Lana. We can still hear you. So
Okay.
just we can see the
All right.
presentation. So go ahead.
All right. We currently carry a suite of 9 products, which include beauty serums, hotel guest soaps, botanical bath bars, luxury perfume oils, body and massage oils, aromatherapy candles, enzyme cleansing balms, hair and body perfume mist, and face and body foaming clay mask. So all our products incorporate the use of organically grown and ethically sourced ingredients. And we are proud to support natural living, which we know is the best way to go.
Thank you, Lana, for that. That was very interesting. Okay, so we now turn to the panel. I will first ask you about leadership. I will direct my question to 2 panelists, and I ask you to give a brief answer so we can move along. Okay, so as we all know, leadership plays a crucial role in shaping businesses and industries. You might have a great product, but if you don't have that leadership capacity, you will not do as well as you should be doing. So I would like to hear from Lana first. We'll go back straight to Lana first. About what leadership means to you. So Lana, what does leadership as it pertains to entrepreneurship, your business exactly? What does leadership mean to you?
Okay, so to me, I came from a banking and financial background, having what you can say a full career in banking of 26 years, banking and finance, 26 years. And then I made the bold leap to follow my dreams, to become an entrepreneur. And I knew exactly what I wanted to do. So to me, the whole question of leadership really centers around leading myself, understanding what I wanted to do, and going after my visions, following my dreams, going after that vision, crafting that vision, having a clear idea. I didn't have all the answers, but having a clear idea of what that vision meant to me and putting the necessary steps in place that would lead me to realize that dream of having Eclanova Luxuries. So to me, that's what leadership meant. There were moments where there are moments where I have to reaffirm myself, keeping track of that vision and to lead myself to realize the goals, understanding that I can't do it alone. Yes, I know what I want, but reaching out to others as well to get the support that I need so that they can help me to realize that dream. And it's important to understand exactly what it is very important to me to lead myself in the way that I know will bring success to me. And sometimes we think we have all the answers, but we really don't. And we really have to get some maybe verification of what it means to us. What are the steps that we are taking to lead to our vision or to lead to my vision are these the necessary steps that I need to take? So I had to understand what that meant. It meant to me seeking opportunities, going out there, going online, seeking opportunities, and just getting into programs that I knew would help to grow me and educate me for the business that I wanted to get into. Certifying myself. So I'm a trained organic cosmetic formulator. And without that, I would not have been able to formulate and produce the products that I do for our company right now. So it was an entire switch from one career to the next, and the understanding that I had to lead myself in order to achieve what I needed to achieve, and going towards that dream of being a successful business and where we are today. So we are 5 years in the making, and very, very proud of where we have started basically from scratch and building that dream and leading up to where we are today. So this is what leadership has meant to me. Seeking opportunities, also helping others. And when you help others and mentor others, it also helps you to understand where you are and to understand further what you have to do to better equip yourself and to better equip myself. And we may not, is in leadership, I'm understanding that we may not have all the answers. We won't have all the answers, but we have to trust that we have to stick to that journey. We have to be faithful to that journey, get the support we need, get this. So I outsource my weaknesses. I can't do it alone. And that is all part of leading myself. So I don't pretend that I can do everything, because I can't. And we have to lean on others who know better and be clear in exactly what we want to do. And part of my leadership, leading myself, has included onboarding a business coach, which I had to do. And it has helped me so much in understanding myself and understanding what I need to do, what I need to improve on, right? Because sometimes we can trick ourselves into thinking that, we're experiencing this, we've done that, we are doing it well. And then when you get the opinion of others, we find out that, hey, do you know if you do it this way, you will get a better result? Or because you have to work smarter and not harder. So we have to be able to outsource our weaknesses, and that is all part of leading yourself, and it's all part of leading myself. And just trusting the process and being faithful to pushing on, seeking opportunities, being successful at them, pushing at them. I'm not waiting for anybody to hand over anything to me. But after a while, you realize when you've succeeded at what you're working at, then you see opportunities keep coming to you. Opportunities show up, but you have to show up for yourself. So I'm showing up for myself and just doing what I need to do to succeed. And for me, I know what I'm doing. I know that I'm on the right track because I'm getting validations from various persons of what I am doing. Critical, as well as critical analysis as well of certain things that I'm doing as well. So you take all that into consideration. I take all that into consideration, and I improve myself, right? And work on what I need to do better so that I can be a better entrepreneur. So this is what leadership has meant to me, moving from one career to the next and excelling, not just moving from one career to the next, but excelling as an entrepreneur and breaking barriers that no one has been able to do.
Right. Thank you, Lana. I think that's a very comprehensive response. What I'm hearing is that self-reflection is key, even though you are, you are in charge of your business. That self-reflection is key all the time. And that building of networks, and not just building those networks, but leading into those networks is also key. And we hope that activities such as this one allow these networks to continue to grow. I'm seeing the chat go through and persons asking for other persons' contact. So building the networks and the networks that can be built, even if we're online, the network that can be built from here, and also taking advantage of all those opportunities that arise and making the space to take advantage. Thank you, Lana, for that. Patricia, you gave a very comprehensive introduction to your business, and you did say you'll speak of the challenges. So what I want to particularly ask you about, Patricia, as a woman leader advocating for gender equality in a male-dominated sector, agriculture, what does leadership look like in your space, and what challenges have you faced, which you said you would speak to the challenges, and how have you overcome? So I turn it over to you, Patricia. We have about 5 minutes for you to give your response, and over to you.
D'accord. D'accord, merci. En fait, pour moi, je pense que j'ai expérimenté le leadership participatif. D'abord, moi, ma conception du leader, c'est celui qui a une vision qui va au-delà de sa propre personne. Donc, celui qui, dans sa vision, a pour ambition d'impacter positivement son entourage. Donc, je parle de leadership participatif parce que dans le modèle dans lequel j'évolue, donc j'évolue avec plusieurs acteurs. Donc, c'est vrai que j'ai des acteurs des femmes du monde rural. J'ai également des décideurs de l'autre côté où je suis obligée d'influencer. Donc, je me retrouve un peu au milieu de toutes ces différentes parties prenantes. Donc, il a d'abord été important pour moi-même de me former. C'est vrai que j'ai pratiqué le leadership, mais arrivé un moment où je pensais qu'il me fallait quand même avoir des outils et me faire aider. Au fur et à mesure que mes responsabilités augmentaient, je me suis rendu compte qu'il fallait que moi-même je me forme. Donc, je me suis inscrit à un programme pour leadership sur les femmes. Ça s'appelle Women in Leadership. C'était à Washington. J'allais me former pendant 3 semaines. C'est là que j'ai découvert toute la beauté du leadership. J'ai continué à me former. Et c'est là que je suis tombée amoureuse. Donc, j'ai commencé à faire en sorte que ce ne soit pas un leadership imposant, mais j'ai fait de sorte que je puisse recueillir tous les besoins des parties prenantes. Et là, ça m'a permis de pouvoir avancer et de ne pas me faire reculer. Par exemple, aujourd'hui, je me suis fait élire, il y a 3 ans, présidente du mouvement des petites et moyennes entreprises en Côte d'Ivoire. Pourquoi? Parce que je me suis rendu compte que travailler seulement avec les femmes n'était pas suffisant si je ne pouvais pas impacter les décisions au niveau du secteur public. Et le seul moyen pour moi d'impacter, c'était de prendre la tête de la plus ancienne et importante fêtière de PME qui existait. Parce qu'on n'est pas là où se prennent les décisions. On n'est pas là où se signent les contrats. On n'est pas là où les grandes discussions se font. Et donc, on subit en fait des décisions qui sont prises par des personnes qui ne savent rien de nos préoccupations, qui ne savent rien de nos challenges, et après, nous sommes obligés de subir. Donc, en prenant la tête de cette organisation, la première chose que j'ai faite, et je pense que pour l'instant, on est la seule fêtière en Côte d'Ivoire qui l'a fait, c'est de faire en sorte qu'on ait 50% de femmes dans notre conseil d'administration. Au départ, il n'y avait pas de femmes. Donc, ayant été élue, la première décision, c'était de faire en sorte. Donc, aujourd'hui, on a au moins 50% de femmes qui sont représentées dans le conseil d'administration de cette association. Le deuxième action sur lequel j'ai joué, c'était les femmes formées dans cette association. On avait moins de 10% de femmes. Aujourd'hui, nous sommes à 48% de femmes que des entreprises formelles qui sont dans cette association, et nous avons développé des programmes sur mesure pour elles. Par exemple, dans le domaine minier, ce qu'on appelle les gender in mining, où on fait en sorte qu'on puisse présenter aux parties prenantes des femmes qui sont capables d'entrer dans les chaînes de valeur. Donc, mon leadership m'a amené à aussi toucher tout ce qui est réflexion, on va dire, politique et stratégique, parce que je me suis dit, ce n'est pas suffisant seulement de travailler avec les femmes et de ne pas pouvoir influencer au niveau politique, là où les décisions se font. Donc, c'est pour ça que je dis que j'ai un leadership un peu participatif, où je suis obligée de, en même temps, jouer sur 2 flancs. Aujourd'hui, je ne dis pas que je suis satisfaite, mais il y a eu des avancées. Il y a eu des avancées, il y a eu des quotas qu'on a réussi à faire réserver pour les femmes dans les programmes qui sont mis en place. Même si pour l'instant, les femmes n'arrivent pas à prendre entièrement le quota qui leur est réservé, la deuxième étape, c'est de les mettre à niveau. C'est fait du renforcement des capacités pour qu'elles soient en mesure de pouvoir absorber le quota qui leur a été réservé et qu'on puisse encore demander un quota supplémentaire. Mais cela nécessite quand même aussi de se faire entourer, de savoir se faire entourer et de savoir également se dire qu'on ne peut pas tout faire. Donc, là où j'ai mes faiblesses, l'autre peut venir combler. Donc, c'était vraiment une diversité d'expertise que j'ai mise autour de moi. Donc, c'est même aller avec des collaborations avec certaines organisations. Je me rappelle que pendant la COVID, j'ai lancé avec ONU Femmes en Côte d'Ivoire le programme Une femme, un panier. Et c'était quoi l'initiative? On avait des femmes en milieu rural qui ne pouvaient plus vendre pendant le COVID parce que avec le confinement, il n'était pas possible de sortir d'Abidjan. Donc, les produits agricoles de ces femmes-là pourrissaient dans les villages. Et pendant que au niveau de la grande ville Abidjan, on avait des ménages aussi qui avaient de la peine à pouvoir avoir de la nourriture parce que c'était des femmes qui étaient dans un secteur informel et qui vivaient au jour le jour de leur vente. Et quand elles ne vendent pas, elles ne peuvent pas avoir de revenus. Donc, j'ai monté une initiative avec ONU Femmes et le ministère de la Femme en Côte d'Ivoire. Et on a fait cette opération-là qui vise à aller récupérer les productions dans les villages, bien sûr, avec l'accord des autorités. Et on est venu les donner. On a fait acheter par des personnes qui pouvaient acheter et on l'a donné à des femmes. Donc, vous voyez un peu comment ce leadership-là ne peut pas rester seulement à un autre niveau. Il faut monter au niveau des instances et c'est parce que c'est là que les décisions se prennent. Et je pense que c'est là que l'enjeu se trouve. C'est là le plus gros enjeu. Parce que si on a maîtrisé les enjeux à ce niveau-là, je vais dire tout le reste sera facile à structurer. Mais quand on structure par le bas et que par le haut, on n'a pas une maîtrise, arrivé à un moment, c'est un peu compliqué. Donc, c'est comme un moment, mon leadership est un leadership, j'ai envie de dire, qui est, qui est sur mesure, qui est participatif, qui est inclusif et qui en même temps sait s'adapter en fonction de l'acteur et de l'environnement qui est avec nous. Aujourd'hui, pratiquement dans tous les programmes que le gouvernement met en place pour les femmes, pour l'entrepreneuriat, pour les PME, la dimension genre y est inclus. Inclus parce qu'on a lutté pour qu'il soit là. Donc, moi, je plaide pour qu'il y ait beaucoup plus de femmes dans les instances de décision plutôt qu'être au très, très, très bas parce que après, c'est un peu difficile parce qu'on ne fait que subir ce qui était décidé de là-haut. Et c'est là où il y a les grandes décisions, c'est là qu'il faut forcer. C'est là encore que les barrières, les portes ne s'ouvrent pas encore. C'est là qu'il faut pousser. Moi, je me rappelle que pendant les élections, c'était devenu tellement difficile, tellement violent que j'avais tellement peur parce que je me suis dit, ah, mais c'est tellement violent qu'il va falloir que je me retire. Mais bon, j'ai tenu et on y est là. On a vu le résultat et aujourd'hui, tout le monde est content. Donc, voilà un peu, moi, je pense que là, il faut chercher à influencer. C'est vraiment influencer par là-haut pour que les choses puissent bien se dérouler dans le bas. Je pense que j'ai dépassé les 5 minutes, hein, sinon je vais pas. Je pense que j'ai dépassé.
Thank you, Patricia. That was very engaging. And I must say, I sit here and I'm really fascinated by the work you're doing. The first term that I noted it here when you started, the participative leadership. I think that's quite an interesting phrase. And I think that's something everyone should remember. And similar to Lana, you spoke of utilizing the tools, investing in yourself, but also key to get into those spaces where decisions are made, so that you inform not only your business, but also the can assist the other women around you and who come after you. Thank you both, Lana and Patricia. I think that those were some key messages on leadership. I now want to turn to the issue of gender bias. And I'm going to first ask Fanny, in your experience, Fanny, how can we ensure gender bias, gender inclusivity, I should say? How can we ensure this gender inclusivity and avoid gender bias, or avoid as much as possible, I should say, the gender bias in the agricultural space?
Thank you so much. Yeah, so I'll start by giving an example. In 2015, my husband suffered a stroke. So, and that time I had just left my job. I was working with International Center for Research in Agroforestry, and my area actually is finance. So I was the regional finance and administration manager for Southern Africa region. But a time came when I said, no, I just want to be an entrepreneur. And 2015 is when I started my entrepreneurship journey because I stopped in 2014. So come 2015, my husband suffered a stroke, and it was a heavy one that it was really serious. He couldn't do anything at that moment. So after 6-7 months, he started walking using the stick and whatever. But then my in-laws came, and even my friends were telling me that although you have started your entrepreneurship journey, but you have to stop and just start focusing on taking care of your husband. So I said, yes, I love my husband and that's what I want to do. And the past 6 months, I've done nothing. I'll see what I can do. Then after a year, I started doing some little things here and there. My entrepreneurship journey started again. But again, I would still receive those sentiments from my fellow women, my fellow friends, colleagues, relatives. No, you can't, because he's still not really up that he can do everything on his own. So after a year and a half, then I had to sit down and start talking to myself. Is this true? If I continue doing this, and my fellow friends are really encouraging me not to do anything, so who is going to take care? Who? Because yes, I'll take care of my husband, but how in terms of the finances and the like? Then I made a decision. I said, no, yes, I'll talk to my husband. If he says I should continue, I'll continue. So I asked him, said, no, just continue. Just, you have to do, because if you don't, we'll have nothing. I'm no longer going for work. So I started again, like starting after 2 years in 2017 is when I started my entrepreneurship journey again. Now I was like, I really don't need to be asking for any maybe information or support from my fellow women, because sometimes it's us women creating issues within ourselves. Let me be asking some, maybe I should also be asking men also to help me what to do. So they would share me the opportunities, like maybe funding opportunities or just technical opportunities, and I started applying here and there. Then I started growing, and that's how I started. And as I'm talking to you now, my husband is okay. Yes, his movement is not maybe as he was, but it's just fine, because I took that bold decision to say, oh, yes, if I will take it like just as my fellow women are doing, I want to make it. So with that, I took courage to start now training my fellow women. Yeah, what they should be doing, what they can do in terms of, for example, we are talking of rural women that I normally work with. These women, they don't have land, like land in their names. Maybe the land is in the man's name. Okay, from where I'm coming from, I'm from the north. Typically, I don't have land in my name because I married, so it's in my husband's name. And where I stay in Lilongwe is the women who are on top of that, but they cannot grow, sell, whatever using those lands. Mostly it's the men, because they come to stay with the woman. So it's the men who are doing everything. So I started telling them, and when I was using my example, I was like that, and some of them would knew, because maybe we were going together with my husband to the farm. Is no longer going there, but they would see me doing it. They say, oh, okay, so we can also do. Yeah, I can also stand on my own and do things. So when we are talking of gender equality, you know, those jobs that men are doing or have been doing are very possible with is starting from our minds. It's mindset change that has to be there. Because if you are a woman and you know you can grow tobacco the way your husband is growing, and actually the husband uses the woman to grow the tobacco, and when they sell, it's the man who gets the money. So those are the issues that really on top of, and when it comes to my orange face sweet potato, this is the product that women really need to grow, because it's us women who feel it, who suffer. It's us women who give birth to children, and our immune system goes down. So if you grow the orange face sweet potato, you eat with your family, you'll be okay. Unlike growing, yes, we are growing other crops, and we cannot do without maize, soya, groundnuts, whatever. We cannot do without them. Even the white sweet potato, we still love them. But we need to promote these biofortified food products, because it's us women who are taking care of the family. So those are the things. And when it comes to going to the bank, you know, now most women, they go to cooperatives, they join cooperatives. So you can get a loan as a cooperative, maybe not as an individual if you are a small farmer. Now in those groups, the women groups, that's the best place where we are now talking about gender equality. We are talking about how we can get finances from the banks, from the other investors. They are there also. We should be on top of that. So those are the things that I also teach the women to make sure that they're on top of the things that can bring wealth to their family. And that's why my model is really for circular economy. When we are talking about things like when you train your child using the money that maybe you did a piece work, like our rural population, they do piece work, and then they find money to train a child. A child goes to school. A child comes back from the school tomorrow. He will be one of the people who will now improve the economy of the country, because he has been trained. Yeah, using that money from someone, your parent who was doing manual work. Yeah, and even the hospital bills, your parents will pay. So it's that, all those things that I'm really working on. So to me, when it comes to gender equality, it's all about doing all things that you can do without looking at who you are, a woman. Thank you.
Thank you so much for Fanny. And again, we're glad to hear the outcome with your husband. But you know, you started with what I said at the beginning, that many women end up in entrepreneurship as a by the way. You did not mean to be there. And so then to turn your attention, but also while taking into consideration all the biases that you face. But I'm glad to hear that you are getting around with the solutions. However, I think going back to what Patricia said earlier, you know, us women need to get into the spaces where the decisions are made, where we can change those rules. Thank you, Fanny. So Christina, over to you now. And we're wondering, as the vice chair of the Future Farmers think tank and a mentor in ECA's Agri-Mentor program, you help shape the future of agriculture in Barbados as well as the Caribbean region. So how has your leadership journey influenced your approach to mentoring young farmers, particularly in overcoming these gender biases and other challenges in the sector?
So for this aspect, in terms of mentorship, I would definitely draw from my experiences so that persons coming after me wouldn't have to go through the types of hardships and challenges that I would have experienced. So for example, as simple as getting a farmer's ID was difficult for me when I had first started, when it was like back in 2017, between 2015 and 2017, when I had my first son. You really needed to have like land already in operation, equipment, and so on. And as a person looking to start out, it's very challenging, especially as a woman, as a married woman, especially to get funding for any type of operation, whether for business or for a house, because obviously you have to be there with your partner in order to get those types of loans or persons investing in your businesses and stuff. So to get around that, I had to go through my brother-in-law who had his own agricultural business to be successful in getting the farmer's ID and then benefiting after from the incentives and training that would have been offered as being a registered farmer. Also, I'm also encouraging persons, young persons and young women to, you know, be more intentional in their involvement in agriculture. So network a bit more, have role models, even if it's not someone within your sector. So for example, we have a lot of leaders, even if you don't hear them, you see them by action, what they do. So for me, I would say I have a track record of breaking barriers, not by my words, but by my actions. So we have like the Prime Minister here, the Honorable Mayor Motley, who are breaking barriers. We have we had the former Chief of Agriculture, Ms. Keeley, the new Chief of Fisheries, Dr. Shelley Cox. Look at persons within the sector and outside of your sector to see what you can learn from them, what challenges they had to overcome, what societal norms they had to overcome. I'm still trying to navigate traditional norms associated with like families in Barbados, having children, having a partner, and then still balancing that. You're expected to balance, having a family and then also a career as well. And usually it's expected that prevalence should be placed on that family unit and not having a career as a woman. So there are different things that you would definitely have to experience to try to overcome those traditional norms, but it's a learning process overall, learning from your mistakes, building from that, and also aligning yourself with like-minded persons or working with organizations that share the same value can help in that aspect of persevering or staying resilient in being an entrepreneur and owning a business. So I would say in general, draw from inspiration from others, and also don't see your mistakes or downfalls as something to discourage you from persevering. Use it as a learning opportunity. Share those experiences with others coming after you, because that helps to evolve the agricultural sector, evolve women as it pertains to being leaders in agriculture or whichever sector they're involved in.
Thank you for that, Christina. And you touch again on that theme that has kept coming through as well, that self-reflection that all of us, all you women entrepreneurs need to do, that self-reflection, but don't let it be a deterrent, but be honest with yourself and then let it propel you forward. And I think that all four of the speakers thus far, you've spoken of those key themes: leadership, networking, and mentorship, which I think is even more important for women entrepreneurs in the space. So thank you, Christina.
Gail, you're muted.
Yes, I just realized. Thanks. I'm going to call on all the panelists to just give a call to action. Just give a 2-minute call to action. 3 sentences, not long sentences, but 3 sentences. With a message. What is your call to action to other entrepreneurs, other women entrepreneurs? Your words of encouragement or advice for the future. What message would you like to share? I go quickly back. I will start with Lara. So Lana, what's your call to action, your message you would like to share in 2 sentences as we wrap up before we get to the questions?
Okay, so going based on my experiences, I would say understand your vision, get it clarified, seek verification of it, have confidence or build the confidence in yourself. And you may not have all the answers. We never have all the answers. But the important thing is to not have yourself in a state of stagnation. You seek validation, you seek support, you seek mentorship, you educate yourself, and more importantly, we are all afraid. I'm doing stuff that I'm afraid of. I might be, but I'm doing it. I may not have all the courage to do it. You may not have all the courage to do it. But the most important thing is to take the relevant steps that you need to take to educate yourself, grow yourself, and to grow your business. That's the most important thing. So nobody knows that you're scared in there, but you're making decisive actions and relevant actions that you know will get there. And once you do that, that's the most important thing. You'll get there.
Thank you, Lana, for those words of encouragement. I think that's what they are. You will get there. Stay the course and you will get there. Patricia, I turn to you for your 2 sentences on your words of encouragement or advice.
Ok. Je voudrais dire que la nature aurait du vide. Donc, il faut occuper l'espace. Si nous n'occupons pas l'espace, c'est quelqu'un d'autre qui va occuper l'espace et malheureusement, on sera obligé de subir ce que cette personne-là aura décidé pour nous. Donc, le changement ne viendra pas tout seul. Il faut le provoquer. Il faut oser, revendiquer notre place et prouver que les femmes, elles aussi peuvent décider pour elles-mêmes et pour ce qui est bien. Voilà ce que je voudrais dire. Vraiment occuper l'espace. Voilà, la nature aurait de vide. Si nous fuyons les espaces, c'est d'autres personnes qui vont les occuper. Et malheureusement, quand les auront occupés, nous serons obligés de subir. Donc, il est encore temps. Il est encore temps pour prendre notre destin en main. Merci.
Thank you, Patricia, for that. And I think that through your intervention earlier, we realized that you are doing, acting on what you say. You are getting into those positions where you will be able to make a difference for those coming behind you. Fanny, what would you say? What are your words of encouragement for women entrepreneurs?
Thank you. So as women entrepreneurs, we need to be the advocate for gender equality right from the grassroots level. That's where we really need to promote gender equality. And we also need to be listen to your juniors, like the farmers we have. We also need to collaborate, partner. I also have partnerships with the academia because we also get the interns from there. They help us. So in a year, we could get maybe 15 to 20 interns. They do different roles because they have different and diverse skills. So also, let's keep learning and sharing. It's very important to be developing our skills as entrepreneurs. And also delegating. You cannot do everything on your own. I work with my son. He's our business development manager. He's a youth. And, that means in the area of youth, he's really promoting. And I am also coaching and mentoring the youth to make sure that we grow together. And when we are talking of agriculture, most youth, they they really don't like being involved in the data game of agriculture. But now when you involve the youth, it's very easy to also invite their fellow youth to join. So, and just to also make sure that as women entrepreneurs, we are on top of the figures. We know our business. We know what we invest, and we know what we are looking for where we want to be, where we are coming from, where we are, and where we want to be in terms of the figures. We really have to know. You can have your accountant, you can have a finance person, the manager, but be on top of your figures. You should know what you're investing, yeah, and then what you are plowing back from that. So that's what I can share. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Fanny. And over to you quickly, Christina.
For me, I would say that I have two call to actions. The first one is surrounding empowerment and support. So we should really actively look to give support to women and also look for opportunities to receive support in return through mentorship, training, access to resources, which is crucial for improving the sector, changing policy, and empowering women to become entrepreneurs by choice and not by force. So gender responsive leaders like us, and well, the panelists are actively working to do just that and create opportunities for women and youth in our sector. The second one is surrounding inclusivity and representation. So I would say to create your own space to ensure that women have a seat at the table. We have a diverse perspectives and a lot of the times unique advantages to our unique perspectives and advantages as women. So that can lead to more comprehensive and effective decision making and also advancements in the sector.
Thank you, Christina, for that. I think that the four of you have really given some great advice to women entrepreneurs. A lot of themes came through: believe in yourself, perseverance, occupy space, create your own space, advocate from the grassroots level, they share with each other, that create those important networks. We cannot do everything on our own. Know your business, that's also key. Know your business, know your numbers, and give support and look for support. So thank you, all of you, for sharing those, sharing your experiences. We have quite a few questions in the chat. I think some of them have been answered. Some have been answered already, but I will pull out some and direct where possible. If not, you can, anyone can answer. So the first question I have here, I think it's directed at you, Christina. What are the smart agricultural technologies in response to climate change?
So for Zartaria Farms, we employ a number of smart technology. So we have solar technology to assist with irrigation. We do have a standalone livestock area where the water and energy use is off grid. So that has been used as well too. And then also different soil management techniques such as using mulch, using into cropping and so on to help manage and produce no waste on the farm. So everything works kind of like in a symbiotic relationship to produce no waste, to encourage soil health, and to also help reduce the movement of food, you know, from imports rather than having it based on island. And currently also addressing, like, you know, growth and everything. So I'm actually doing a course in photovoltaic installation to better understand the system so that I can make improvements and expand from there, and hopefully in the future mentor other young persons to implement those type of technologies into their systems.
Thank you, Christina. A question here for Patricia. How did you identify the programs and partners needed to empower women in your supply chain?
J'avoue que dès le départ, ma stratégie a consisté à aller vers les partenaires. Et à force de frapper aux portes, je n'ai pas trouvé de porte ouverte. Et comme en général, je suis une personne qui n'aime pas attendre, j'ai démarré avec ce que je pouvais. Donc, j'ai fait mes activités avec les moyens que j'avais et j'ai communiqué là-dessus. Et donc, c'est après les partenaires, la plupart des partenaires, pratiquement tous les partenaires qui sont venus vers nous, après avoir vu le travail qu'on avait fait. Et c'est surtout lorsqu'on a fait la publication de notre premier rapport d'impact que je pense que ces structures-là, certainement, étaient hésitantes dès le départ. Donc, on n'a pas vraiment fait, nous, de démarche particulière. Moi, j'ai dit à mes femmes, faisons avec ce que nous avons et que notre travail parle de lui-même. Je pense que c'est le travail même qui a parlé de lui-même. Donc, tous les partenaires après qui sont venus sont des partenaires qui avaient des objectifs qui s'alignaient avec les nôtres. Et c'est comme ça que nous avons travaillé. Mais comme dès le départ, nous avons frappé aux portes, mais comme en général, je ne suis pas quelqu'un qui a de la patience pour attendre que l'autre décide, on a décidé avec ce qu'on avait et c'est les partenaires qui sont venus vers nous. Tous les partenaires avec qui on a travaillé sont des partenaires qui ont vu nos activités, nos réalisations et qui sont venus vers nous. Et on a regardé, on était alignés sur les mêmes valeurs, sur les mêmes objectifs et on a démarré. Le seul partenaire que j'ai démarché, c'était le partenaire ONU Femmes et le ministère pendant la COVID, parce il fallait faire quelque chose. Donc, je suis allée vers eux pour dire, voilà une idée que j'ai. Vous, ONU Femmes, identifiez-moi ces ménages et moi, avec d'autres partenaires financiers, nous allons réaliser l'opération. Donc, voici un peu. Donc, moi, je pense qu'il faut déjà faire ses preuves. C'est vrai, les partenaires, vous allez aller vers eux. Le partenaire a son agenda, qui n'est pas forcément votre agenda, parce que moi, je suis du privé. Donc, étant du privé, j'ai un agenda qui est un peu plus dynamique, parce qu'à la fin, il faut quand même faire du chiffre, il faut quand même avoir un résultat. Donc, voici un peu ce que je peux dire là-dessus.
Thank you for that, Patricia. Lana, I have two questions for you. What training should one undertake to start manufacturing cosmetic products based on natural essences?
Okay, so the training. Okay, so the manufacturing of cosmetic products like I do is very important. You have to take the necessary steps so that you qualify yourself and certify yourself because you're producing products that go on our skin. And this is important. It's important that you have formulations right. It's not just putting together items that you think will work, but getting yourself properly certified to do so that you can also create safe products for use. So what I've done, I have gone online and did very intensive research over the years to qualify myself, got myself into a certification program, which I was able to look at. I looked at different ones, various ones that were available online, and I chose the one that suited me. I did the course and I got through with it. So we can all do that because formulation is you have to understand formulation and not just certify yourself, but be able to use products or ingredients that have proper that have the properties that are beneficial to our skin and being able to put them together so that they actually work, right? So another thing would be to educate yourself because educate yourself on a whole, you interact with people, you seek people who can support you, run your ideas by them so that they can, based on their experiences, they can lend you support and also to build your network, which I have done so, I would say globally. And because you always need to reach out to someone that you think you can bounce off something to, ask an opinion, leverage on your support so that they can help you to grow. So right now I'm able to reach out based on the support that I need based on the type of support I need, I basically can reach out to any one of my contacts in the world and I will get that support. So it's very important to build your network. Build your network locally as well, which is very important because the local factor, this is what really is your support base, where you're from. And you need, once you have that, you are able, it basically gives you that drive and that zeal to continue. What else? So it's educating yourself, certifying yourself, leading on your support, growing your support base, growing your network, being able to reach out and to not only reaching out to the persons that you need support from, but keeping in contact with them. It's very important to do so because we are all humans and you don't want somebody to only contact you when they need you, but show support to them. So it has to be, you have to reciprocate because there is something that you can always teach somebody else. When you think that you may be reaching out to them for support, you'd be surprised how supportive and how helpful you can be if you just have a conversation. So you have to, yes, leverage on your network, but at the same time, provide that reciprocal support that they need. It could be just saying, hi, how you doing? And that sort of thing. We are all humans right here.
Thank you for that, Lana. I think that last point is key. Don't always, you also all have something to give. Don't just take, but also give. And I can't remember, one of the panelists, may have been Fanny earlier, who made that point as well. Thank you for that, Lana. And another question for you, Lana. You spoke of your business mentors, business coach. How did you choose or come in to encounter your business coach?
Okay, so I will start by answering first the support that I've gotten. I'm on this journey. I'm still on my journey to get where I want to get to. And over the years, my participation in various programs allowed me to build a network with organizations and the business personnel, the facilitators on these programs whom I have kept in touch with, and as well as the organizations. So being successful at programs and then reaching out to the people, the various facilitators to find out, how can you help me? Okay, this is what I'm doing, and can you assist me with the support in this? It could be a particular subject. It could be the wealth of experience that they have. And you will be surprised that once you reach out to somebody, they're always willing, more than ever. They're always willing to help. So I have been able to do that. And the coach was the coach whom I have right now, the coach that I have right now, she was referred to me through a facilitator that I have kept in contact with over the years from a previous program that I did. It's a program that I did 2 years ago, called the Global Green Growth Initiative. And I was successful at that program, being the only one in my country on the cohort number 2 to be a grant awardee, and as well to graduate from that program with an excellent rating of excellent. So I reached out to her. She was aware of what my business is about. We are a sustainable brand, and I graduated as a greenpreneur. Our business graduated as a green initiative. So she already had that information about me, about us, and she had a very good understanding. With that understanding of our business, she already knew what my vision is. So she was able to refer me to her coach, which she has a wealth of information, but she decided, okay, I'm going to introduce you to my coach. You will see if she is the best fit for you and that sort of thing. So we had this preliminary discussion, just a discovery conversation a few months ago. And I think she was perfectly paired with me. So I decided to onboard her, and I did so. And just very deep conversations, very deep conversations. I'm actually on I'm actually at sea now, but on a business cruise going to various islands in the Caribbean. Yesterday I was in Barbados, and I invited her. She's from St. Lucia. So when we got to St. Lucia 2 years ago, I invited her, and I got real-time coaching from her on everything. It's on everything. And it's important that we recognize that we cannot do anything. We cannot do, there's a limit as to what we can do. And sometimes even when we're doing, we can do it better. So I'm really trying to work smarter, not necessarily harder. So, and to avoid mistakes that entrepreneurs make in their journey to success. So onboarding that coach, she's already giving me the guidance that I need to really break down that vision that I have, go through our processes, go through, just understanding my thinking process, understanding how I analyze things, how I need to look at things, my personal self, because it enables it's my personal self, how I put out myself, how I present myself to the world. So she will also assist me in that. And it's fundamental that we not only represent our business through our products, like in my case, represent the business for the quality of our products, but we have to represent ourselves in how we present ourselves to the world. It has to match, because we create luxury skincare and hair care products for our clients, and it has to match. There must be a match to what you create and how you present yourself. You have to be knowledgeable, you have to know what you're doing, and you have to gain the trust of the clients that you want to interact with, or you want to onboard.
Thank you for that, Lana. I think that was a very comprehensive answer, and so persons understand how you've gotten, and I know that you take your opportunities and you make those connections. And again, the theme coming through the networking. Fanny, I have a question for you. What necessary pathways should one take to become a leading woman entrepreneur in an economy with political and policy blockers?
Okay, can you come again?
Sure. What necessary pathways? You spoke about, I think you said you're from the North, and the challenges they are because you're a married woman, etc. So what necessary pathways should one take to become a leading woman entrepreneur in an economy with political and policy blockers?
That's a good one. Yes, I guess when we talk about policies, I think it's everywhere, government policies, whatever. Yeah, there are some policies which are really hindering us, like maybe entrepreneurs in general, whether a man or a woman. But what I would say is, first is to listen to your what exactly do you want to do? So listen to your inner mind on what really you want to do in life. Because there are certain things we do, or you go into entrepreneurship just because you are copying from someone. If I'm into orange face sweet potato and I'm doing well, somebody will think, okay, she's doing well, I'll also start doing orange face sweet potato. So that's not the idea. So what you need to do is first identify or come up with an idea, the idea of your business, develop the idea of your business. So no matter what, whether they are strict policies or whatever, you penetrate because you have a passion for what you want to do. So if you want to do livestock, for example, I'm not into livestock, but if you want to do livestock, I would go to someone who is into livestock. I would want to learn what they are doing. You know, I mean, information sharing is free, and there are people there who would share free information. So ask questions about the area you want to venture into. Yeah, if you have not been there too. And then you get the answers. So that's what I would encourage. Learn from those who are there. And then you know where to, how to penetrate that business that you want to venture to. Yeah.
Thank you for that, Fanny. I think that we have a lot of questions. We've pulled out some of the questions. We encourage, we will share all the information from the contact information, I should say. I saw some was shared already in the chat. The contact information for the entrepreneurs who you've heard today, so that you can engage with them one-on-one. You can build those networks. You can look for coaches if you need. We can put into practice some of the things that we've heard today. So I will now turn over, and so I apologize if we did not get to your question, but there's still a facility for you to be able to get that information from your from the colleagues who have spoken today. So I want to now turn over to my colleague at COLEAD, who I've got to say, when she first reached out to me, it's so long ago now, Iselina, I don't remember. You know, we first reached out and started to plan, or sorry, not even plan, to think about these sessions. And since then, and we're so happy that they materialized. But so I'll turn over to my colleague now, Iselina Boto, Head of Networks and Alliances at COLEAD. She will just give you a summary of the key points of discussion and close off our session. And we hope that we are going to be in contact with you we hear from you. We continue to hear from you. Over to you, Iselina. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Gail and colleagues. I'm very, very pleased with our launch and our first session today. Not only, I'm not going to repeat what has been said at all, but I found the two things. One, the presentations very, very inspiring, not only because it's on the subject, but because it's action driven. Really, they have reached results which are incredible to me, and also the audience. So our participants, who are themselves experts, it just happened that today you have the role of participant, a really incredible experience, and indeed a lot of networking and dynamic exchanges going on, which is one of really the purpose, as Gail and Jeremy said at the beginning of these sessions. I would like just to say two things which are important also with what UN Women and COLEAD offer, and we will put that in the following email where we will share the recording and the presentations and so on.
Sorry, Iselina, my apologies for interrupting, but you're on the French channel speaking in English, just a note.
Oh, sorry for that. Normally I am in the original audio, but okay, I changed to the English. Thank you very much. So it's, well, I believe this has been translated anyway. So two things. One is we have seen the multifaceted approach that you have to do education and finance and leadership and so on and gender bias, but the access really to education and skills, and more than skills development, reskilling in the agri-food sector or agriculture sector and connected industries we are in is very competitive, be local or regional or export markets, it doesn't matter. So the skills and reskilling is very, very important, is a continuous effort. And this goes from specific technical skills, I mean, like farming practices, like food safety, supply chain management, and so on, and also managerial skills. And there is a lot of free things that has been mentioned, but UN Women and COLEAD are very much and partners resources that we will be sharing. Actually, we had planned to share today already, but we will put that in a follow-up. I think it's very, very important that you get those. I mean, then all the capacity building and training development are very important. We have a lot to offer because it's very much linked to the negotiation skills you have, to influencing the decision-making processes, as you know, the panelists today have shown. It's all very much interrelated. And one of the things we want also to achieve through this series, I mean, there's really the networking and the building that supportive communities. And because we are in agriculture, it's very important to link women, farmers, and men, of course, smallholders in rural areas and entrepreneurs in the urban areas. Sometimes there is a divide which can be explained, you know, historically, but that shouldn't be there. And the rural women or the women or entrepreneurs operating in rural areas sometimes need support, you know, to connect to this knowledge, skills, capacities, etc., to improve production, access to markets, and so on. And the other thing that was mentioned that I think we will do more, also, you know, we have the distribution of the registrations today, which were more than 700, of you know, backgrounds and age range and so on, is all that youth, also that intergenerational and inclusive approaches. In agriculture, not only, but in agriculture is very important. A youth, young male or female, are very much, you know, in need of getting into those, not only knowledge and capacities, but networks. Really, you have to know people, you have to meet mentors that will help you in your career. And this is critical, and I do hope that we will achieve that. So for the next, I think there was a kind of slide for the next ones. We will provide you in our following email with all the resources, with the dates and, you know, and topics of the next sessions. But we will have a mix, and I'm very happy, and I thank you again, my colleagues from UN Women, led by Gail, but Alexandra and Alonso, of course, for having started this one today on these topics where obviously UN Women is much stronger than we are. And we will have a mix of, you know, very technical, I mean, processing, etc., and more managerial, and because it's completely linked. So the next one will be more, you know, on the marketing and the distribution skills, the channels and so on, because it's very important to include those entrepreneurs into the markets. And this includes, of course, the digital platforms, the e-commerce, many of you, because we know many of the participants today are in e-commerce as well as in a more conventional one, but it's also linked to financial and the other sectors that hopefully we will be sharing and discussing in the coming dialogues. What I want to tell you as well, there were very interesting remarks on the chat. Yes, this is one-off because it's not one-off, but it has a limit, it's time, it's our colleagues from interpretation, it's yourselves, you are very busy, and we thank you for the time, you know, as entrepreneurs, you take out of your work, basically. But we will consolidate a space where we put the resources and where also we can, you know, continue to exchange among yourselves and ourselves, of course. So this is what I wanted to say, in addition, of course, to thank the interpreters who allow us this dialogue. And I'm very glad that we have them, because we have, as we have seen at the beginning, you know, an important participation, among others, from Africa and other French-speaking countries. And I thank, of course, the COLEAD teams, as well as, of course, the Gail, Alexandra, Alonso, of course, our IT colleague, and from our side, Nina Aoefa, who is in Togo, actually in Africa, myself in Brussels, and Gaetan, who is not here, but we had also IT support and communication support from Sandra, who is tweeting now and, you know, making the communication plan. So I believe, Alexandra, thanking all the panelists and participants, that before we close, we had a little survey that you prepare. Gail, Alexandra, if this can be online, if you can, that would be nice. It's not compulsory, obviously, but it will be nice to have a feedback. It's our first session. We want to improve and to make more, you know, targeted to your needs, to what you expect, etc. So it will be, you know, great if you say if you are satisfied of the content today, the discussions, if it met your expectations, if it's useful for your business, so the area you are working in, and you can type, that is type. We can give a few minutes. I have 4 minutes from my side on what we could improve, for the next webinars, which will be obviously on different topics. And feel free as well in our coming exchanges on future exchanges to propose other topics, other suggestions. We are very, very open from both sides, and that's the beauty of this partnership as well. So we leave a few minutes, but if you could do that, that would be great. You have, as I said, other opportunities to do so as well. But I hope, like Gail said as well, that it met your expectations, that you found the presentations very useful and insightful. I really have myself. I will repeat Gail comments at the beginning. Despite being in this business, I still learn, and this is the beauty. I mean, we all learn from each other. And I am impressed by the 4 entrepreneurs we had today, sometimes in the conditions and the environment they are, how well they perform. I mean, it's just incredible. It's chapeau, as we say from Brussels. So very, very good. Yes, if you need support, of course, then, we will consolidate, but there are addresses from COLEAD and from UN Women on very complementary and interesting from both institutions, and we both work with other partners. So make really use of it, but that would be my encouragement. A big part being, yes, if not all, being free. I think it looks, I don't know if I see the same screen as everybody, but I think it looks good. Gail, do you see the same?
I'm seeing some of the responses coming in from the survey, and it's looking good. We appreciate this, and it's really been our pleasure.
You have a lot to do with that and your moderation.
No, it has been all of our pleasure. The entire team, the ones you can see and the ones that you can't see, who did a lot of the heavy lifting.
That is as well. So you tell I will be guided, and thank you for the nice comments. So the chat is in these depressing times when you put the news on, really looking at so much enthusiasm and positivity in the chat is incredible. I love it.
Yeah, yes, I love the networking that continued to happen, and I hope that
and
everyone.
While we leave 1 minute, Gail, I'm very pleased as well that we managed. It took us a bit of time, but it's south-south, so we operate in complementary countries, continents. So making it it was ambitious.
Exactly. Yeah. So as we finish up and everyone finish up the survey, thank you so much for that, Iselina.
So can we see the results? It is fine now. Yes, we see the results. Everybody can see them.
Yes, we can. I think they can see them.
Perfect.
That we're getting really good results.
The only thing I don't see is comments, but I guess that they are, written comments. I don't think then there are many, but the rest is close to 100%. So thank you so much. Thank you very much. Gail, do you want to add something?
I just want to say thank you to everyone. I just both COLEAD and UN Women are here to help. We have shared the information. You can reach out to us. We will add you to mailing list. We will share. I believe someone had asked if they would share the recording. I believe that's a possibility. Also, I want to give another huge thank you to the panelists. We facilitate this, but they are sharing what really happens, and they are the ones who can really give the advice. We just facilitate. So without the 4, Lana, Christina, Fanny, and Patricia, this session would not have been possible. And those are the persons who were really able to give you, the entrepreneurs on the call, some words of advice. And I think that they were quite interesting and poignant, and I'm really happy that we were able to do this, and we look forward to everyone joining us in the next session. And we really appreciate all of those who have stayed on late. where it is, wherever you are in the world. It might be quite late where you are. So we appreciate that, and we hope that we've met your expectations. So everyone, enjoy the rest of your day again, and thank you.
Thank you very much. Keep well, all of you, and see you soon. You will receive, yes, emails from us. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Merci
Thank
beaucoup, merci
you.
beaucoup à tous les francophones. Merci.
Merci beaucoup.